Hi guys, it's Colin here from the Dynamic Beaver. Back to you with part two of the Dynamic Beaver demo. Here we are, just to recap where we were. We're actually on the page we're creating right now. What we're trying to do is we're trying to create the U-Design full page here. So from right from the top to the bottom. And let's just scroll right to the bottom here. You can see there's still a little bit of way to go, but it won't take too long once we get going. So that's what we're trying to recreate. So far, we've come down, we've managed to get our header done in Dynamic website builder, and we've added this first section, and we're also onto this second section. Now, one of the things I did notice is that the second section we added was quite a lot wider. So what we're going to do is first of all, we're just going to come in and do some tidying up and just reduce the margins on this one. So first of all, we start page builder, and this will load up the page, the Beaver builder software or plugin, should I say? And I'm just going to go to the row settings, and I'm just going to reduce the margin down on the advanced tab over here. So I'm going to reduce the down to 0, and I'm going to actually do the bottom on 0 too as well. So that's taking care of that. Now that's a lot better. It's not as wide now. But what we can also do is we can actually reduce it a little bit more by changing our bottom margin within the column. So I'm going to change this down to 10, and I'm going to actually put the top at 10 also. It won't change anything yet until I do the other side, because the other side's just keeping it there. And so we're going to do the same over here. Quickly change the margin. So go to the advanced tab. The top one I've pushed down to 50 because that's the one we were trying to just nudge down. But I'm going to change the bottom to 10 and save over here. Okay, so now we've got that down a lot smaller, as you can see. Actually, you know what? I think we're going to go and just add a little bit more on the top there. It's probably just a little bit too close. So I'm going to add a little bit of margin here. I'm going to put the top, I'm going to put 20 back in again. There we go. Let's pushed it down just that a little bit more. That's better. Okay, so that was just a little bit of cleaning up I need to do from our last session. But now we're going to go down. So we're going to go back over to Dynamic Design, and we're going to scroll down. So we've got our 4 callouts done. Okay, the next section we need to do is this dark section here. So it's got quite a lot of stuff going on here. But if we have a look, we can break it down a little bit. So we've got a edge-to-edge background, which is nearly black, but it's not quite. So I'm just going to actually sample that, and so we've got that already. So that's been copied to the clipboard already. What we need to do is we need to create a header with a sub titles or a sub header below, and then we've got 2 columns here. So this would be 1 column, that would be 1 column. Got 2 columns here too with the buttons. This one might be a little bit of a problem for Beaver Builder. I don't believe there's a way we can actually put 2 buttons side by side, but we'll handle that when we get over there in a minute. And as you can see, there is no marginal padding on this. This image comes right down to the next section. So what we'll do is we'll just head on back over to our builder. We need to add a content. First of all, I'm going to add a single row, and that's going to take care of the background. Okay, so that's going to be 1. We're going to drag it below here. There we go. Let's see, you can see it's got in there. So we're down here now. So I'm going to make this row a full width, and we do that by changing that to full width. I'm also going to go and change the color of the background. So I'm going to change it to color, and I'm going to click in here. I've already copied the color I need, so I'm going to paste that in there. There we go. You can see that's had an immediate effect. So we've got our background color. We need to add some content in here. So we noticed that the first section was a header. So I'm just going to add a single bit of text into there to do that. So we're going to go back here. I'm going to add content, and I'm just going to choose a text editor. I could choose the header section, but that means I would have to change the styling in the style sheet. But for now, we'll just create this page really quick. We'll just add that text editor in there. And if I go over to U-Design, I'll copy all this here. We'll put this into one section. Control C, and paste this over here, and Control V. Okay, so I just need to actually style this. So first of all, it was all centered, so I'm going to center it all. I noticed that this one was a large font. I'm not going to use the use the 2 maybe. I don't know. Let's have a look, see what that looks. But we need to change the color of it to the orange color that we had up there. So we'll change that. Oh, as you can see, we've got that in there now. But I don't think it's big enough. So let's have a look. No, not bad. It's probably about the same size. But we need to change the text below because that's obviously not standing out against the background. So let's change that to a nice sort of light gray, which I don't know if I have in here. That's not going to be light enough. I'm going to go custom. I'm going to actually choose a lighter gray up here. Probably, yeah, down there. There we go. And we'll leave that. I'm just going to change that to B design quickly. There we go, B design. Okay, I need a solid theme builder. I should change that, but no, I'll leave it as it is right now. It's just for demo purposes. So right now, so there we go. B design is very powerful. We've now got our section in here. Those two look pretty good. All right, so now we need to add the next section, which is going to be a 2-column section. So I'm going to go up to the add content, row layouts, 2 columns. Okay, and I'm just going to add this below here into here because it's in the same section. And what I've got on this side is some bullets, and on this side I've got a graphic. So you know what? Let's go and have a quick look again. All right, so we're going to handle the graphic first of all because that's it. I've got that stored in my media library. So it's split 50-50. We're going to leave the columns the same. So if I come over here, so on the basic modules, I can just drag a photo into that column there, like that. Get a dialog box, select my photo. If I go to my media library, it was that one that we needed to select. So I've got that. I'm going to leave it at the full size. I'm going to crop it. I'm not going to crop it. I'm just going to leave it as is. Okay, and you'll see that the only problem is we've got, as you can see, we'll come back and fix that in a little while, but we've got a margin or padding at the bottom there, which is preventing it going to the next section seamlessly. But let's go and have a look at the little conundrum we've got over here with the list of bullets here. Okay, I don't have any tools built into Beaver Builder, unfortunately, to be able to add this as an icon right now. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a method that we can create this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight it all first of all. I'm going to copy it. Okay, I'm going to come over here. I'm going to save everything as is right now. So I'm going to go to Done, Publish Changes. Okay. So that's there, done right now. As you can see, we're actually getting somewhere. But what I'm going to do is I'm going over to create a new page. Okay, and I'm just going to call this my play area because I always create one of these pages for myself when I'm building websites. So I'm just going to quickly save. I'm going to save a draft. I'm never going to publish this page, but it's just a little play area for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste this into the regular text editor, okay? And what we're going to have is a whole bunch of arrows there. I just want to, oops, Control Z. Don't want to do that right now. So what I need to do is I'd like to create the bullets. So what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to do a little bit. I'm going to take away all the bullets and just enter these in as is right now. I'm just going to get rid of these pre-done bullets. It won't take a second. Just basically delete and enter, delete, enter, delete and enter. Okay, so what I'm going to do is actually just move these, indent them slightly. I need to do one, maybe just one. Okay, I'll leave them at 1, but I'd like to put my own icon in front of these. So I'm going to go into this little handy dandy plugin. It's called Better Font Awesome, and it's a plugin you can get from the WordPress repository. So look for Better Font Awesome, and it allows you to just drop in your little icons. So I'm just looking for that check mark, and it's just a check mark without anything else. There we go, that one there. Okay, so we're going to leave it as is. Okay, I'm going to copy it, Control C. I'm just going to paste it Oops, let's control Z. What happened there? I'm just going to paste it in front of all these and actually just bring them all up like that. So I need to put a space right after it just so that, okay, and Control V. Probably shouldn't have done the indent first of all, but we can take care of that afterwards. So space after that, Control V. This seems like a long-winded way of doing things, but believe me, it's actually not too bad to create these icons this way. So it's just a way of creating something outside of Beaver Builder just to get around a a feature that's not there right now, but who knows? Those guys are really good at getting things together over there. They're really good at supporting everyone. So right now I've got all those there. I'm going to actually just highlight everything, and I'm going to go back and do that indent. There we go. So let's go back and have a quick look at UDesign. So this is a white, and these are gray. These are actually white as well, but I'm not going to actually make those white for the sake of time here. So we're going to create this. I'm going to make it into a different header. I'm going to change the color to white on here. Now all this was a light gray. I don't think I have a light gray in this palette here, so I'm just going to go custom, and we'll just choose a light gray over here again. That will work. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to my text editor, and I'm going to select everything there. Wow, okay, I've got H4s here. Let's go back. I don't like that. All these here are all H4s, so I'm going to change those down a paragraph. There we go. And I'm going to make them a little bit bigger because they are actually larger on the page. There we go. And now we're going to go to text. There we go. There we go. That's much better. All right, so I'm going to copy that text there. I'm going to leave this. I'm going to save the draft just in case I need to come back. Okay. I'm going to go back to my pages, and I'm going to go back to the home page again, and that will be this one here. Click on my launch page builder. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag its text box down into here. So I come back up here. I'm going to choose a basic module, text box, drag it back down, put it in there like so. And I'm going to change this over to text. And now I'm going to just paste what I had over there. And as you can see, you won't see the icons just yet because they will just need a second to update. But that why choose us is probably too big. So I'm just going to select that and make it 3, heading 3. There we go, that's better. Probably in just another space behind that too. So I'm just going to have a look at that and see where it's, oh, it's pretty close. So we won't bother, we'll just we'll take that one back. All right, so you know what we'll do is we'll save this now. Let's have a quick look, see what it looks like. There we go. That didn't take long at all, did it? Space things out a little bit, but I'm not too concerned about that right now. We can, you know what, we should squash it up a little bit. Let's have a look, see what we can do with that. So we're editing here. Okay, so these are all paragraph fonts. I'm just going to select them all. I'm just going to put them down to a 10. That's not going to do any good. Okay, so we're just going to put them back up to 12. I can't change the spacing on this one, unfortunately, but we'll leave them at that for now. And what we'll do is we'll bold them so that they actually stand out a little bit. So we're going to save that. And as you can see, there we go. Have a quick look over here. And we're pretty close, just for the sake of the arguments. Actually, I'm going to take the bold off. It doesn't quite look right. So quick edit in there. And we're going to select all those again and keep coming down. And we will take the bold off. Okay. And save. All right. So that's our little bulleted area done. We're going to add a button now, because if we have a look over here, we've got a button. Now, I don't think we can add 2 buttons, but we're just going to add 1 button for the sake of this demo. And if we go over here, add content, we go to the advanced modules, you'll see the button is the second one down. We'll add it actually into the same area, because it is part of that area. And what we're going to do now is we're essentially just going to style this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose the style. I'm going to do the background color. Now this one over here is orange with a white text. So we're going to, you know what we can do? We can actually go over here and sample this color. It's going to be hard to sample it before because it will, yeah, that's the problem when you try to sample an over color. So you know what? I'm just not going to bother sampling. I'm just going to escape from there. I'm just going to put my own color in, and what we'll do is we will put in the famous color F26522. That's good enough for now. Okay, so that's our color for background color. And our hover color on this one is just darkens a little bit. So I'm just going to choose the same color, put that in again. That's a little way, a quick way you can. Whoops, I don't know what happened there. No, I don't know what happened there. Okay, so you know what? I'm just going to F26522, and I'm just going to bring that down a touch. You can see that's all we need. It's a very slight touch down, and that will change the color when we hover over it. The text color I want to be white, and I'm also going to keep it white when it hovers over. Okay, I don't need a gradient on there. Now the width of the box is pretty wide, so you know what? We're going to change the text to see list of features shortly. So let's go and do that first. See list of features. Features. Like so. Okay, and I think I missed off an S there, didn't I? That I think is pretty good. Let's save that. One last thing, I want to center it because I know that we can't put another button in side by side on this one. So not using the Beaver builder, we could probably do so, well not probably, I know we can do so using a little bit of code, but we're not going to do that right now. I'm just going to take the padding off of this as well so it pushes it up. Also going to remove the bottom padding because I know I'm going to need to do something with that in a minute. And I'm going to save. What I'm also going to do here is, oops, I forgot to add a link here. Okay, so it won't let you save without adding a link. We're just going to put a default back to anchor in. Okay, so right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this margin at the bottom of here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go to the row, first of all, and I'm going to remove the bottom padding off of here. So that will bring that down to 0. But as you notice, I actually do need some padding because of the list button here. So I'm going to actually add that back in because it kind of ruined the space between there. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over to this guy. I'm going to try and guess what we've got here. I'm reckoning we've got probably about 50 pixels there. Let's have a look and see if we can just nudge this down by 50 pixels on the margin. And it should actually be very close. And one thing I've got to do is take the bottom off of this one to 0. There we go, we're getting close. And actually, I do have to take the margin off of the row. That is very close. I'm going to push this down to 70, so it's below, yeah, perfect. Maybe a bit more, let's go 80. All right, that looks good. And what I'm going to do with this, as you'll see, is I'm going to go back up to the row. I'm going to get rid of that bottom padding because what it's doing is actually letting us not go into the next section. So I'm going to save that. And now we've got this going to next section seamlessly. There's no padding or margin affecting it. And we've actually got a bit of a space between this button over here. So what we're going to do is just compare this with the thing. We had a bit of a problem with the button there, okay, and the heights. We need to do a little bit of changing with the heights, and I could do that with the bullets and stuff, but we're a little bit bigger over here. I don't even know where I got the metallics, but we'll leave them as is right now. And you know what we can do? We can bring this a little bit up a little bit by taking the bottom of this one up to maybe 10. I just still want a bit of a space there. There we go, that's better. All right, so let's save that. I'm just going to go up here and just do a publish changes, so if anything does happen on this recording, we haven't lost all the work we've just done. And here we are. Let's have a look, scroll down. Why us? We could probably just do a little bit more space there. It's a little bit tight, but not that tight. And as you can see, we've got our graphic there. So we go back to UDesign. We've got this nice big white area here next. So let's add another row. We've got the same kind of thing up here with as we had up here. So I might just copy that and put that down. And then, yeah, I think we're pretty good. So I'm just going to copy this right now. Do that. And what I'm going to do over here is start the page builder again. And over here, I'm going to add a row. I'm going to add one column, and I'm going to put it right below this. There we go. So that I'm actually starting a new row. And on this row, I'm going to go and change my setting as usual. I'm going to change it to full width. I'm also going to change the color of this one to white. And that way I'll get that nice big area there. Okay, perfect. Now this one I'm going to add this one I'm going to copy. I'm just going to bring it down. Instead of creating one from scratch again, we can just put it down to there. Okay, I'm going to just select the text. You know what? I'm going to just get that ready. I'm going to go over here and just copy the header first of all. Control C on that. And I'm just going to paste that over here. What I usually do is just to keep the formatting intact. I usually, oops, you see, Control Z. What happened there is if you paste it into it and it takes it away just like that, it's just changed the formatting. What you can actually do is, if I go back, is I can go to the text. I can see that the span is right here. I can just paste it into there. Okay, and if I come back to the visual, it's already changed it. So I'm going to do the same on the bottom. Here, it's a little tip, save you trying to format things. I like the gray on this one. I'm going to have to change the gray on the top one, but we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to come over to the text. I'm going to look for where the actual text starts, which is right over here, and I'm going to add it in there. There we go. And I'm just going to change that to a B, because we are B design. Okay, and the B design is right here too. I don't think there's any more B designs there. Great. Okay, so back to the visual. This one has got to be a darker gray, and so I'm just going to change that in here, and let's have a quick look. All right, and save. As you can see, we have that now down here. That gray is not deep enough for the bottom over here. I think we've got to do a yeah, darker gray, and that one's got to be a bit darker too. So actually that one's not too bad, but let's just go in here. We'll do this. This one's definitely not dark enough, so we'll go up to here and change it to one of these darker colors. Maybe a bit darker. Sorry, not font sizes. I want to change the color of the font, not the font. Let's go with that one. And save. There we go. That's much better. I'm just going to push this down a little bit because there is quite a big gap between the last section and this section on the demo. So I'm just going to push that down to 40. There we go. If we have a look, you see there was quite a big gap here, so I just wanted to push that back down there again. All right, looking good. All right, so what have we got next? We have 3 columns here. Okay, 3 callouts essentially, like we did earlier with buttons below them. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back in. We'll take add content. We will add this time row layouts, 3 columns. We'll drag that down. We can keep that in the same space as we did before. Okay, and what we're going to do next is we're going to go into the advanced modules and we're going to do a call out. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing we did before. We're going to essentially create one and then copy them. All right, so let's just go over there and look at the heading. So this is the U Design Showcase, so I'm going to copy that, come back over here. So that's actually going to be our heading, and I'm going to change that, of course, to B Design. That's that done. All right, so the image, I'm going to select a photo this time, and which one was that? It was the first one with the little magnifying glass thing there. Okay, so that's the image over there. I'm going to select that. I'm going to make sure it's above the heading. It's the full-size image. All right, and the style over here, it defaults to left, so we're going to change that to center. Okay, I'm going to leave it with the H3 for now. I can show you how we can go and change the H3 tag afterwards. If we have a call to action, our call to action will be, actually, you know what, let's just go and put our text in first. So let's just go and Copy that, put that over here. Here we go. Paste that into there. I want to center it, so that will be centered now, and that's good. I think we're just going to bring that down on size because I think this one was a little bit smaller again. Okay, yeah, we're just going to put that down at 10 again. That will work for now. Anyway, all right, so we're going to do our call to action next. And the call to action, I'm just going to put a link in here. Oops, I'm just going to put a link. Of course, I'm having problems with my keyboard here. Yeah, that would be Google Chrome doing that. Sometimes it does do that when I actually get keys mixed up. Anyway, we'll worry about that afterwards. And the button here is going to be, what's the button text on this one? Tell me more about that. Okay, so tell me more about. You notice that when people are actually speaking, tell me more about that, they make typos. Whenever I'm watching videos, I see people typing, they always seem to make a typo, and I think, oh, that's not just me then. Anyway, so the background color, we're going to go back to doing our F26 522. Don't ask me how I remember that. It's actually something I worked on and entered that in a lot of times. Whoops, I clicked save, but I need to go back in there and just edit that real quickly because I didn't finish it. I'm doing my call to action section. I'm still working on my button. We're going to do the hover cover color, and we're just going to change it just to make it a little bit darker again. So F26 522. I'm going to drag it down a little touch there. Okay, save. We could have gone and picked the color off the other one, and I'm an idiot because I forgot to change the text color while we were there. So let's just do this to white. Okay, and let's do the text color hover, also white, no gradient. I'm going to change that font size to 16 just to make it a little bit bigger, and that'll push out the padding bit. Okay, that looks good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually just notice the U design parts in there. We're going to just edit those out to B quickly, and that one's a B. Okay, and there we go. So we're going to actually duplicate this. There's one. I'm going to drag that up right now, and then I'm going to duplicate it one more time, and we'll drag that up over here, and that's the 3 sections. So what I need to do now is just go back in and just change each one. So first of all, I'm just going to go in just this. We'll go and find out what the next catchphrase is. So WooCommerce integration, Control C. We're going to change the title to that. Then I'm going to actually go in and select the text next. There we go, Control C, and I'm going to paste that into here. Hopefully I get away without actually doing it. There we go, and I'm going to change that to orange while we're at it. It is actually, once we set up our style sheets, we would actually be able to have that as orange as standard for all the links anyway, and I think that is good. So we've got to do the image. Now the image on this one was the teapot. Let's remember teapot. So replace, and there's the teapot. Select photo, save. Okay, one thing we've got here is the font size is completely different, and also this is not fitting in here, so we're just doing a quick edit on this, and I'm going to bring this down to style. I'm going to bring it down to I'm going to keep it H3, but I'm just going to change I'm going to bring this down to 22 just to see if it'll fit on there. Okay, perfect. Which means I've got to go and change all of them, but that's the way it works with this one. So we've got the image in there, and then I've also got to do the main text here. For some reason that jumped in size too. Remember that little tip I gave you about pasting inside of something? And one more thing, I've got a thing about lining things up, and I don't like the way that's doing that. So let's save that for a minute. Oh, I know what that is. That's because of the font title here. Anyway, so I'm going to go back over here, and I'm just going to change this one to style. I'm going to change it off the default. Now what we would normally do in this situation is we'd make sure we'd have an H4 set up for this kind of thing, or even a class module so that we could actually override it. And that's something that the Beaver guys have got built in there. You can actually override the classes and put your own custom classes in. So you've got a situation like this, it would help. But for the sake of this demo, and which is taking a long time, by the way, well, not taking that long, but we're only up to about an hour mark right now. I've got all that sorted, so everything's leveled out again now. So I just got to change the image and the title on this one. So this one is support and documentation. So we go back over here, and we're going to edit and support and documentation in there. Okay, and then we're going to get the text from this one. I got a few of those U-design things to sort out. Control C. Now this time I'm going to go back to that tip I taught you before. Get between the two tags, okay, right there, and just Control V. That way you'll keep all your formatting and you won't have to go back and change everything after. So go back there, I've got everything sorted. Alright, there we go. So I'm just going to go back in here and get rid of the U's and put the B's, and B. Okay, and save. There we go. Alright, we didn't change the image on this one, so that's the last one we need to do. And this image is, let's replace it with that one there. And we'll select that photo, save, and there's our callouts done. Let's have a quick look over here. Yep, perfect. So we've got a bit of white space below those. You know what, I can add a little bit on the row. So let's just go up here and add another, let's say 10 pixels on the, actually, you know what, we can just put a 30 pixel padding. There we go, pushed it down a little bit, perfect. All right, I'm going to save that where it's at,